Well, yes, hello, beautiful people of Uganda worldwide. We welcome you again to the 101 show, always keeping you updated. Thank you for joining us today. It is a beautiful afternoon. It is raining. We feel blessed already by the Lord. And obviously, you know, I'm your favorite host, Alinda David Amumbi, and I'm happy to be here with you today. So, we have some special guests that have joined us today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Thank you so much. In the same spirit, my name is Sarah Babilia, and I am the project manager for Uganda National Alliance on Clean Cooking, that is always known as UNAC. This alliance was established in 2013, and it aims at bringing both the private and public sector together, including different associations, to promote clean cooking technologies. But among the things we do are resource mobilization, networking, and also sector coordination. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Peter Mugambe, a dietitian, and I'm really very glad to be back here. I appreciate all of you who have taken off time to come and watch this program, and I know that you're going to be tremendously blessed.
Well, yes, I hope you've seen our guests. They are very beautiful, and thank you once again for joining us today. Yes, I know the weather is so beautiful. You know, whenever it rains, I may love it when it rains. It's always a sign of something good that is going to happen. So we have formulated a few questions for our guests today, and they're going to indulge us into the cooking world. Can I say the cooking world, or the nutritionist world, or how can I put it? You say you say that you work for
Alliance for Clean Cooking. I work with the Uganda National Alliance for Clean Cooking.
Uganda National Alliance for Clean Cooking. In short, it's called
UNAC.
UNAC. So UNAC world, the UNAC world. So we are going to go deep down into some of these questions, and I'm going to start with Miss Sarah. UNAC. Yeah. I'm just going to try and adjust to the UNAC system, but I have just a few questions for you.
Okay, please.
Sorry, the rain has disrupted our program, but we are going to go straight into the content that we are all waiting for, into the cooking world, the UNAC system that you're all waiting for. So, first, my first question for you is, can you share with us the mandates of the Uganda National Clean Cooking Alliance?
Well, thank you so much. The Alliance, first of all, like I said, it aims at bringing both the public and private sector together to promote clean cooking. And one of the mandates that the Alliance has is to create awareness for these clean cooking technologies, because it is evident enough that around 88% of the people are still using traditional forms of cooking or the conventional forms of cooking. Why? Because they are not aware that we have existing modern or advanced forms of cooking. For example, cooking with electric pressure cookers, which most of the people do not know. Also know the traditional fire stoned way of cooking. So that is what UNAC does, to bring these people together and create awareness for these technologies. But also, UNAC does a lot of resource mobilization, because what we know is that most of the activities that we do to promote clean cooking require money. Yes. And what we do as the Alliance is to do resource mobilization so that we can easily carry out the awareness creation. We can easily carry out different workshops, different webinars, and also link our clean cooking companies to different resource mobilization agencies, or maybe the development partners who are supporting us through carrying out these kind of activities. Yes. So some of the things we do are that, but also we do a lot of networking, because we realize that without partners, without partners or development partners who are going to be giving us resources, there is no way we can push the agenda forward.
That is very true. You know, personally, me myself, it's actually my first time hearing about the Uganda National Clean Cooking Alliance. Obviously, I have grown up hearing about a variety of companies, but this is my first time. So at least I'm happy to learn something new about this system. And yes, you've told us some of the activities that they do. And obviously, the audience, we are looking forward to more of what is going to be taking place here. But what you've given us is literally just a brief summary, and we are going to dig more into the questions. So my audience, I hope you guys are ready, because where we are going, we are cooking for you guys. So let me just go on to the next question. How do you see the UNAC impacting the clean cooking agenda in Uganda?
Thank you so much. UNAC alone promote such technologies which I didn't mention at the first.
Yes.
But we have got cooking with biogas, cooking with electric pressure cookers,
Yes.
cooking practically tell you that at least what I can say is we have around 10 to 19 people cooking with some improved technologies.
Yes.
And yet we want to see ourselves by 2030 that at least 50% of all the people in Uganda at least have got one or two clean cooking technologies. Most importantly, for example, I spoke about the pressure cookers.
Yes.
You see that we still have a very low percentage, yet when you see in the urban areas, at least every person has got electricity.
Yes.
But you see it is only, I can say maybe 70% of the people are connected to the electricity or the grid.
Yeah,
But you see it is only 1% or 2 people are cooking with e-cooking or electric cooking. Why? Because of lack of awareness. What we are trying to do as UNAC is through creation of awareness, where we do around a lot of exhibitions in the markets and all that, we want to ensure that at least by 2030, at least we have got 70% of the people around Kampala or in the urban centers or in Uganda at least are using electric cooking as one of the good technologies. So as UNAC, what we always do or what we emphasize on is one, of course, creating awareness, and what we have been doing for the past 2 years, and I think I can say last year and the other year, plus also this year, we are doing a lot of engagements. We have gone to market. The whole of last year, went to Nakasero market, went to Wandegea market, and all the markets in Kampala. We went to institutions, went to churches, went to schools to create awareness of these technologies. And what we do, always we do practical demonstrations and exhibitions, live, hands-on activities, whereby someone is convinced to see the technology, because what most of the people do is to keep having wrong perceptions that probably these clean cooking technologies are not cost effective, or maybe they are expensive, or maybe the foods they cook are not sweet enough. Yeah. For example, with reference to the pressure cookers, most of the people have got a wrong perception that when you cook with an electric pressure cooker, the food is not tasty, one, but it is even very expensive to cook with it, and also maybe they cannot cook with different, they can't cook with different dishes. So through these kind of exhibitions and live demonstrations, because we always do cooking and we mingle posho, we do molokonyi in the little time to show to people that you can cook with an EPC with just 1 unit the whole day, or maybe you can use 0.3 to cook beans and they get ready. That is basically 300 shillings when you compute it into the shillings. So we are addressing different perceptions so that it can stimulate or it can increase the adoption of these technologies, because it is one of the ways we can do the mindset kind of change or behavior change kind of campaigns in such things that we do.
Yes, so basically you just encourage people, actually you show people the modern way of using this technology, because now personally some of us have those instruments at home, but we actually don't put them to use because with our lack of knowledge about this information, we limit ourselves from using these tools. Yes, but thank you for making that point clear. My audience, please, you guys have to understand that at least the instruments that you use for cooking, yes, you can have them at home, but at least let's do some research. You can go online. I assume you guys have videos online. You stream them.
Yeah, one of the ways we are promoting these technologies, of course, it is a hybrid. Like there are different ways of doing something.
Yes.
Away from the exhibitions or the market exhibitions or the live demonstrations, most of our companies under the Alliance go an extra mile in promoting these technologies via the social media. For example, they can use TikTok. Some people have to design some good information. Yes. And you realize that the way you design information in the rural areas is a little different from the way you're going to design the same information to the urban setting.
Yes.
So you see that when we consider promoting this technology, we use Twitter, we are using social media, for example, the TikTok, for example, the different platforms on e-cooking and all that, so that we try to disseminate this information and package it very well to the way that different segments of people can understand the message accordingly to where you have taken the technology.
Oh, all right. So I hope that has been clarified for you. So we can actually go online. We can go for those that don't have TikTok, Bambi. You can download TikTok, or actually you can opt for I think YouTube, because normally these videos are also put on YouTube. So you can also opt for YouTube, and then you watch these videos. So I'm going to go to our next guest, Peter. You're going to go through. You're going to help us go through the kitchen design and cooking practices. So how can a well-designed kitchen layout encourage healthier cooking practices?
Okay, so thank you very much. I wanted to first of all say that it is very important that every person has a very good kitchen. I'm one of those people who really enjoy having a nice looking kitchen, a very organized kitchen. And the question that you have given us talking about kitchen layout is really very important in having better health results that are coming from our kitchen. And if you look very well, you will notice that if you have a disorganized kitchen, you will end up preparing bad meals. Why? Because ease of access, the things that are close to you, the way that you're going to use them, you know, the environment that you're working with definitely impacts what is going to come out of that kitchen and what you're going to put on the table. So that is why it is really important for us to recognize that having a well organized kitchen can actually impact the way that we are going to benefit in terms of our nutrition and our health. If you have a good kitchen, a kitchen that is organized, a kitchen that has one of these things that they are telling us, the electric pressure cookers, the clean cooking and all these things, it means that you're going to end up with better meals. And that is why it is really important that we have that as well.
Well, so yes, you've actually, even us at home, we have actually a really organized cooking system, the setting, because actually in our house, one thing I've known about us as a family, we love to eat, and when it comes to food, actually, we do not joke around, because food is food. When it's time for food, it's time for food. Okay, you know, when like the spices, the ingredients, whatsoever we use for cooking. But then I'd love to ask, how, in relation to what to is it the Uganda National Clean Cooking Alliance? I don't know. Do you also still implement the same practices? Do you also teach the community to indulge in the designing of the kitchenware, or you only based on the cooking? Yes, you based on the cooking things. Like let me simplify in simple terms. What I'm trying to say is, when you're moving around trying to communicate to individuals so that they adjust their form and ways of cooking, do you also tell them the importance of having the well-designed kitchen, where the well-designed kitchen system, so that at least as they cook, they know that they're going to cook like something which is sensible, like a well-prepared meal with nutrients and all that stuff? Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. What I can contribute on that is that, yeah, you are right. Because, for example, like I mentioned, although my previous conversation was more inclined on cooking with electricity, but also we have got, for example, institutional cook stoves in schools, for example, but also households, whereby you invite some of the companies who are well known for designing and also making those institutional stoves. Why? Because we don't want always to see smoke.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the ways we are saying.
Yes.
Because you cannot be cooking and then again you're taking in the indoor air pollution. At the end of the day, it is affecting your health. At the end of the day, 10 years to come, you'll be having diseases that we are related towards the indoor air pollution kind of aspects. For example, maybe asthma or pneumonia or lung kind of diseases. Yeah. So we always want these companies, like I was telling him, that we regulate the companies that were under the alliance. Why? For self-regulation and to maintain the standards and quality. So always the stoves that, or the institutional stoves or the household stoves that are established in someone's area or premises must be ventilated enough and designed in the way that they don't bring the smoke to affect the person that is going to be cooking within that kind of the kitchen that is established.
Oh, all right. So that has been classified. So there is still a relation And I hope you're all understanding with the information that we're giving you. So our second question before we go for a short break, what changes can you make in your kitchen design or layout that can make cooking healthier and more efficient for you?
So for the changes, one of the things that you have to realize is that we are aiming to achieve efficiency and accessibility, because once we improve the efficiency in the kitchen, the availability, it means that we are going to save more time, we are going to save more energy, we are going, yes, generally. So one of the things that we can change, I remember once while we were still at school that there is a way an organized kitchen has to be. Look at where the sink is, look at where the storage compartments are, and look at your work table, look at, you know, the stove where you're cooking from. So having these places placed well in an organized manner means that you're going to have less of straining and, you know, overly doing things, looking for things here and there. It means that they are going to be more accessible and you're going to be more efficient. Then the other thing I think generally is that in a good kitchen there should be good lighting, so that you can see well, because things like glare and all these kinds of things, they can come in and you may end up doing things in a wrong way, and then you can get wrong results. You know, once you're doing things wrongly, you're definitely going to have wrong results. And also, not to forget the ventilation. This is one of the things that is not really thought about. My brother, think about how many people in Kampala are having, in the same room they stay, that is where the kitchen is. You're cooking, you're breathing in, you're breathing out, you're doing all kinds of things. So the ventilation in that sense means that you're going actually to affect your health because of your cooking and because of not planning well for your kitchen. But once we have the right ventilation, the right light, it means that we can actually end up with the best results for our health in general. Yes.
Actually, to supplement briefly on what he has said,
Yes.
Annually we are losing 23,000 people, and that is affecting both women and of course girls,
Yes.
who are always taking at least over 6 hours cooking. So they annually die because of poor ventilation, and they're taking the indoor air pollution. So that means every day we are losing 66 persons every day. So this is a silent killer, and someone might take it for granted. But also when he talked about the disorganization in the kitchen,
Yes.
you see that I was talking about the electric pressure cookers as one of the modern and advanced appliances, which are admirable. But if you disorganized, one of the issues that destroys or damages the pressure cookers is when the cockroaches or funny insects come and enter, and maybe they urinate on the motherboard, and before you know it dies just within 1 month. So if your kitchen is not organized enough, even if you're using the modern technology still, it can be destroyed within just a few minutes, and then you hate the technology, yet it is you who has not really organized enough to do what you're supposed to do.
Yes, that is very true, because you know, when something is organized, now personally when you have something that is really organized, everything flows, and obviously you get to do things on time, obviously, and based on, you talked about something with the proper lighting of the what? Yes, proper lighting of when you're cooking, that lighting actually helps a lot, because you know, when you're cooking, there are some things that can easily fall into the food, and you won't be aware because you may not see them. So at least you know, when you're cooking, you have to see what you're cooking. At least you know what you're going to be ingesting. But I don't know whether you guys remember this saga. Was it in lockdown or 2019, 2020? I don't know. It was around that period when there was a rumor going around about a rat fell in the CJs. Yeah, those things. So we have to look at what you are cooking. We have to see lighting always matters in when we are cooking. So we are going to go for a short break, but we're going to be right back. So stay tuned. So I'm going to start to give for the next question. And then after, I shall go to you. So you start. Then after I come to you. I'm going to ask you number 3. Yeah. right, welcome back from that short break. I hope the cold weather is not affecting any of us. Get a blanket or something, get a hot cup of tea, milk, something to it's chocolates, something to cool you off, and continue with us. Continue watching. If you're going back home and you're driving, it is okay. Let the rain flow. Just let the wipers wipe the water off the windscreen, and listen to us. Let us be your, how can I put it? Let us be your voice, Kale, for the day. Kale, so we are going to go into the storage and waste reduction. So I'm going to Mr. Peter. So how does proper storage help reduce waste and promote proper nutrition?
All right, so it is a convenient but health manner and place, and we are looking at drawing you back to home, so that if you buy your electric pressure cooker, for example, you can use it. You monitor what goes inside there. So while we talk about the waste reduction, because there's a lot of food waste that is actually going on around us, if you look at the statistics, it is actually overwhelming. And this means for the people who are doing energy and all these kinds of things, is that there is a lot of energy wasted, there's a lot of time wasted, there is a lot of resources that go into the wasted food, because it takes effort, it takes money to prepare all the food that is ending up wasted. That is why this question came up. And when we talk about storage, if you have, let's say, a refrigerator in your home, you can keep things that can perish easily for a longer time. It means that you're going to save them. If everything you buy you cannot keep for a long time, it means that the ones that will get spoiled easily will spoil, and you will waste that money and that food. But if you can find a way, one of the other things that actually we have learned, and I think you should adopt as an individual, is to label things. Label when you got things. Label when they are expiring, so that you can practice some of the things that you learn in school. You know, people learn FIFO, first in, first out. But we are not practicing that in our homes. You buy things and the posho that you bought last year is still there waiting for a certain day, for maybe for some kind of thing to happen, and then you say, okay, my posho, here I come. Let there be a certain order in your fridge, that while I do this and this, I can reach the freshest and the ones that I actually need. It is good to have proper planning in the kitchen. Once you have planned your storage, you're not going to waste. For example, if you're one person in a room, what is the use of buying 2 kilograms of posho every day? Why? There is no need for you to buy 2 kilograms and you end up eating a little bit and throwing away the rest. You're wasting food. And these are the things that actually end up, for the organic matter in food, when it degrades, it releases methane, especially beans. Once this methane is released, it is one of the leading greenhouse gases that are causing all this environmental because people are pouring beans every day. After eating your chikomando, all the beans that remain, you get. So let us put labels. Let us practice these safe practices. Let us have a way to store things better. If you have things that do not need air, they will spoil if they are left in just open like that. Use an airtight can. And the things are available. You can even use these polythene bags that you can do what? You just seal it and something will last longer. Yeah.
Wow. I'm even here and I'm impressed. I'm impressed because actually one thing that I've noticed about should I say Africans in general or Ugandans? Okay, the ones that I know, the people that I know. So obviously when it comes to cooking, yes, you cook an amount of food, but then there's always the leftovers, So at least I feel like we should adopt to the system where at least, let me say, you cook once, you see, like, let me say you've measured, and let me say we're in a family. Let me say we have how many people? You 4 people in our family, and you've cooked, let me say 2 cups of rice, and let me say you've peeled, let me say like 5 bananas of matoke, and then obviously you've measured the cups of beans. Let me say like 1.5. That is a lot of food, by the way. It is a lot. Someone can hear me speaking, but for those who don't know how to cook, me, I know how to cook. For those that don't know how to cook, that is a lot of food. So a person can cook that, and then there are leftovers, because nowadays we just eat to have something in the stomach. We don't eat to get full.
Yes.
Exactly. So now a person will get their portion of food. He'll also leave some for another person, and then after all the 4 people have got food and they have eaten, there will always be that leftover that is there.
Yes, so that is why it is important that you get creative. If you always have leftover food,
Yes.
there are what we call leftover dishes.
Yes.
That you can use the same things that you had, but to recreate something better out of those. Get creative in your kitchen. If you have bones. Some people just throw away bones, but you can use bones and those remaining spices and you come up with very nice stock that you can use as soup for your children. Yes, the bones, the what, you put all of them, cook them well, you use them as soup,
And
so that you reduce the
wastage, and that's costs too. And by the because in case you're worried about the bones and things, you can actually just filter. That's what you can filter the soup out. Because actually, when I started cooking in lockdown, I found so many ways of being creative. Because I look at these chefs, Gordon Ramsay. I love that guy. Honestly, I love him. He is really creative when it comes to the kitchen. Actually, I used to watch his daughter on Da Vinci Learning. I used to watch his daughter. The daughter also knows how to cook. But when it comes to leftovers, they are really creative. They can bring something that was, let me say, that was cooked yesterday in the morning, and then they want to prepare another meal. They use that leftover and they make something that is like a 4-course. They call them the 4-course meals.
Yeah, 2-course, 3-course, 4-course.
Exactly, those 3-course, 4-course meals. So let's at least try to look at the way we handle our food consumption, the wastage of food also. And let me say, when it also comes to the cooking bit, at least let's try to understand, people's stomachs, how much they can take in also. Yes, so let me go to the next
But
question.
I think, just 1 minute, I think
All right.
somehow this, we have the social and the cultural context of things.
Yes.
So somehow, somewhere, it could be contradicting with the cultural setup, whereby, for example, I am in Uganda, and we grew up knowing that you don't cook food that is only limited to 4 people, in case you're 4 people, because always you're expecting a visitor to come. So suppose the visitor comes, and then you say we only had 4. So that is a little amazing. But I agree with him when he said that, when you have, probably you can think of a visitor coming, and in case the visitor doesn't come, you make use of that leftovers. You don't just throw it away, but you can even, I'm impressed that you can get the very bones. So suppose I cooked fish, so I eat the meat, then those bones I can again do another sauce the following day.
Yes.
That's a very good innovation. I think I'm going to.
You should actually try it.
I'm going to try that.
I'm this type of person also. Let me say, when they cook chicken today and then tomorrow they are leftovers, we normally get those leftovers, and then we just cut our tomatoes, onions, and you just mix it in. You get some little reco, because remember, they were already spiced before, so you just get a little spice, you just add it in, and before you know it, trust me, you eat something that is amazing. And people are missing out. They don't know these things, so people, we are teaching you.
Yes, they are leftover dishes. There is something called leftover dishes, and it is something that you should incorporate into, even if you buy these other spices, maybe we're making juice and what, you can use those things, and then you make what you will use for your next juice, you get, and you can keep it in the fridge. It will not spoil. So it is really important.
Well, I hope that has been specified for us. So let me go to the next question. What are some of the challenges faced by low-income households in accessing healthy cooking equipment and ingredients?
All right, so this is very interesting that here we are telling people to go out and look for healthy cooking and do all these kinds of things. Most of the people that are watching us are they are in Banda, you're in Makerere, and where you're in. Honestly, there are very many challenges, and one of the things is accessibility. to, first of all, the fresh ingredients, the fresh foods, and then the equipment, the right equipment. That is why people like Madam Sarah are coming up, so that they can help you understand, receive the information, because even when the things are there and you do not know that they are there, you will not be able to receive them. So ignorance is also a challenge in itself, but also the access to the equipment, the access to the ingredients. So one of the ways that we can go about these challenges is that Uganda is a blessed nation. We have a number of seasons, and different things come in different seasons. You may find that right now probably the matoke is available, probably this and that. So let us take advantage of the seasons. And as I've talked about the storage, there is a time when posho is very cheap, and a time comes when posho is actually expensive. So while you still have that opportunity, that window, use the opportunity and buy the things. And it is always good to buy in bulk. Very many of the people that we have in our country, they think buying in bulk is for the rich, is for the what. But if you sit down, the Bible teaches, Jesus was teaching, and he said that you should count the cost. If you want to build a very big house, count the costs, so that you do not reach somewhere in the middle and then people say he began to build but he was not able to finish. He went into a war and he was not able to fight the war. So count the cost. If compare the electric pressure cooker, for example, and your normal charcoal that you're using, you discover that actually what they are telling you is way cheaper than what you're spending. If you buy food in bulk and you store it properly and you keep it and you minimize, you do portion control, you do not give in this Uganda we are having people, you have a 2-year-old baby and they are feeding him the same amount of food that you're eating. A 2-year-old baby, and the person will be beating the child that if you don't finish that food, I'm going to work on you. So it is something that we have to imbibe into our systems, and we learn that it is better to do things a little differently if we want to see better results. So even though the challenges are there, even if there are very many, the access is not there, but there is information. There are people who know where they sell the cheap things, but that have quality to them. You just need to find those people. That is why you need to keep on coming and watching the radio project. Yes.
I want to add on what he has said. Taking use of benefit of the seasons once they come.
Yes.
There is always a very good season for mangoes, and even 1,000 can blend you too much juice, almost 5 liters of juice. But there is a season whereby you can't even have a mango of 1,000. So some of us, when it is mango season, that is when we are going to have a lot of juice for mango at home.
Yes.
But you see that if suppose it goes off, then you go to either making juice from pineapples and the available kind of probably fruit at that point. So I really think it's a very good point.
Yeah, and actually, which also brings us to another question, which says, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the adoption of clean cooking solutions in Uganda?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Some actually talked about them, but I'm going to begin with the issue of the mindset change.
Yes, change.
Most of the people are still stuck with the old ways of thinking, even if you try to explain to this person. For example, I'm going to give a scenario. At the moment, a full sack of charcoal costs 80,000. 80,000. And there are some families which even use 80,000 times 2 in 1 month. That is 160. Okay, relatively, if we just assume that, it is a family of 5 to 8, maybe they use 1 sack. Still, that is 80,000. But when you cook with an electric pressure cooker, you use 1,000 per day. That is 1 unit. Times 30, how much is that? That is 30,000. A month on cooking, and cooking conveniently, very safely, with
no smoke,
no smoke and everything. And even if you go to maybe 40, maybe you overcook, still it is really way cheaper. But because people have got this tradition of thinking, they're like, electricity is very expensive, that is one of them.
And also the issue of, let me say, after cooking your rice, they have to also prepare another dish.
Yes.
So they have to use the same
Some people are even too lazy to say, because when you plan and you say, I'm cooking my beans, for after 30 minutes I'll remove, fry the beans, then cook either posho or maybe rice. Someone says like, okay, how will I just use one pot?
How will I switch?
How will I switch? So those are some of the things that mostly keep people from not adopting to these technologies. He talked about a very good point of accessibility. Yeah, we have these technologies, but let us really appreciate the fact that because some of them are new, they aren't spread everywhere.
Yes.
And see that when you go to the regional areas, maybe away from Kampala, for example, maybe when you go to northern parts of the country, farthest eastern parts of the country and all that, we don't see these technologies. So basically at the moment, these technologies are still more centered in the city, in the cities, but we have other technologies. I'm not speaking about electric pressure cookers because I said UNAC promotes a lot of technologies. Yes, we have some technologies. Of course, we have, for example, the biogas, but those ones are more of the areas where they are cattle for the families which have got what? Probably cattle at home.
Yes.
At home. Another important component I can talk about, or a challenge, like you mentioned, is the issue of affordability. Truly, we appreciate that these technologies are very good. They are economically saving, they improve the health, but the issue of finances is still a challenge because these are expensive. For example, why is it that every home has got an improved cook stove? Because when they keep singing them that mutwalo, 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 mutwalo. So that means they are very affordable.
Yes.
Once you have your 10,000, you can have a series of cook stoves which are there. And yet, when you compare purchasing an electric pressure cooker at 300, okay, it ranges from 250 to 300. It is still a high note that most of the people might not be in position to have this kind of technologies. So we still have another important factor why most of the people are not adopting to using these technologies. And that is, I talked about the distribution. We have very few distribution points. Most of them are in Kampala. For example, I can buy my electric pressure cooker and I'm like, suppose it gets some problem, how will I get the after sale service? Because maybe I'm buying it for my mother in the village. So we have a few distribution points, but as the Alliance, we are trying to create very many points whereby at least we increase accessibility to these technologies among the Ugandans. But lastly, on this very point of challenges that we are seeing is the issue of the policies. I would say maybe the enabling environment existing at the moment. For example, we have policies in Uganda, yes, that are promoting, very good policies promoting our use of electric pressure cookers and generally the clean cooking technologies.
Yes.
But some of the policies, I can say, they are not yet supportive a bit. For example, an electric pressure cooker is expensive. Why? Because of the tax that is imposed or charged.
Yes.
They charge around 25% of that, importing it alone, but also the end users pays VAT of 18%. So you see that the pressure cooker that will be around maybe 150 goes to 300 because of the taxes. So what we are lobbying for is the government to come with different stakeholders to exempt or give tax waivers or maybe tax holidays so that at least we can easily adopt the technologies and most of the people can be in position to buy them if they are little affordable.
That is very true because obviously things are actually imported into into Uganda, and obviously people want to purchase those things, but it's always the cost that is a challenge.
And it's not actually the pressure cookers alone. I can also talk about the biogas.
The biogas.
If you have your 2 cows at home, installing or establishing the biogas plant in your home takes at least 1.8 million.
That whole setup system.
Yeah, that cost of setting up the whole up to getting by. Yeah, so you see that we have many people in the villages, they have their cows, but 1.8 might not be easily attainable. Also, we have got solar for cooking. It's a very good component. It comes with a panel, it comes with the bulbs and all that, but still a full set of that component can be around 2.5. It's a very good technology, but it's still very expensive. So you see that we are still now relying on traditional forms of cooking. As I stipulated that around 88% of the people in Uganda still use the traditional ways of cooking because of the issues of affordability. The existing technologies, yes, but they are still expensive and they aren't so much affordable to most of the Ugandan setting.
Yes, and while she was explaining, 2 things came to mind. That this actually shows you that there is an opportunity. If you are there, you're into innovation. This is a place that could actually be very fertile for you if you're going to engage in, development of these technologies in Uganda, so that you can beat the importation tax as well. But also, the other thing is that there are also people that have the ability to do this, you know, all the challenges are there, but they are actually above those challenges. But because they have not yet really embraced this, they are not coming out and, you know, supporting this. So those are the people that I want to beseech by the mercies of God. If you have the ability, this is better. You know, the Bible says that God came and he put before these Moses was saying that, behold, today I put before you life and death. Choose life. And even told them the answer, choose life. But they decided to choose death. So it is as though we are telling you that choose the best thing. This is your health. This is your body. You don't have a spare body. There is nothing like that. So if something is saving your health, it is really of high priority to you. This is a time that you have to make up your mind that, you know what, let there be a kitchen revolution in my house. Let me implement some of the things that I'm learning, because we are so fond of, you know, enjoying all these kinds of things that we are talking about, and then you just dream about them and we never get to put them in place.
To supplement on what he's saying,
Yes.
like I said, it is just maybe mindset and all that. Because you realize that most of the people, when you go to probably in church or maybe a gathering, you realize that 85, if not 90% of the people have got smartphones. And how much is that phone? Vis-a-vis the life that he was talking about. So you see people have phones of 500, but when you tell this person an EPC is 250, he says, oh, that is too much expensive. But yet he's using the phone for, of course, other very many activities, but you cannot compare this with life if you're reducing from taking in the indoor air pollution to affect your health.
People, let's be mindful about our health. Like, it is very essential, like really essential. Well, yes, so let us go on to the next question of how the Alliance engages the local communities to promote clean cooking practices. Yes.
Thank you so much. I mentioned that we always do one of the outputs that we do, and it is tangible enough because it has created a lot of impacts, is to do exhibitions.
Yes, exhibitions.
So when we go to arrange for these exhibitions, the first important thing is to look for local leaders of the area. Why? Because they must be knowledgeable enough to disseminate this information even when we leave the area.
Yes.
And they should act as our influencers in the area, or they should be exemplary, or maybe ambassadors, if I can use the same word.
Yes.
So we always do engage a lot with the local leaders in the area. We have different dialogues. We meet with them in the due course of either exhibitions or even away from the exhibitions. UNACORES organizes workshops and we engage local leaders to come, because through the local leaders, that's when we get to know the challenges that they are facing, why the adoption of clean cooking technologies is still low. Yes. These are the leaders who tell us that, oh no, I would love to use the other pressure cooker, but it's very expensive. Maybe talk about the tax exemptions, maybe accessibility and the distribution challenges are still really prominent here. So we always engage to the maximum the local leaders, because through the local leaders, that's even when we can reach to the people. Actually, yes. Surprisingly, I'll give you a scenario. We've ever mobilized and carried out an exhibition. But if you don't have mobilization from these local leaders, you can even have a low turn up. Because these local leaders,
that's very true,
are the ones who, these people, these community members are the ones who voted for them. For you, they don't know you, you're just in a place and telling them about clean cooking, please come tomorrow and see these things. They might be relaxed and reluctant to come. But once their chairperson comes in and says, okay, you people, there is an alliance coming to exhibit out of clean cooking technologies, please come. Because they listen through that local leader, there is come and participate. And
they're the ones that actually engage them to understand how these things work.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have done a very extra mile step in engaging the local leaders to every step. All the workshops we're organizing, we must engage them. Actually, one of the ways that some of the members, because when you go to rural areas, like I mentioned, the way promoting technologies to maybe a salary earner or an urban person is different from the rural setting, if I can say. When you go to some area, you realize that the local leaders can even be guarantors. For example, if the pressure cooker is 250 and this person has got 100,000, the local leader can say, I know this person, he's a good citizen. So to increase accessibility,
uptake, yes.
Yeah, local leaders can come and support different members to buy the items at a cheaper price because of the backup from these local leaders. So we try as much as we can well, as much as we really can to engage the local leaders as we are promoting these clean cooking technologies.
And this can actually,
it has worked.
and this can actually help those individuals in the villages, because personally, those sites in the local areas that are not so well developed. Yes, they can have electricity, but there are forms of cooking, there are nutritionist activities that they practice. They're not well educated about most of the things, and they are limited to a lot of information. So at least when they're given this opportunity, they take their chance at least to get it, so that they can build their immune systems. At least now, like what we talked about last week, the nutrition of the body, they can build their immune systems, because at least the leftovers of what, let me say, when you cook food and that soup, as you said, when you boil the soup and you just pour out the soup, they can learn from all that. Now, like the EPC, all the nutrients are, yes, they are retained in the water again.
All the nutrients while you cook, the methods of cooking that do not allow the water to be poured out or escape, it means that they are going to retain the nutrients in them. So this actually promotes your well-being.
And that's what it's one of the wrong perceptions that people have, that when you cook with an electric pressure cooker, you lose the nutrients instead.
Yeah.
And yet he is telling us here that instead you retain
Yeah,
the
you
nutrients.
retain the
Yeah.
nutrients, yes.
I wanted to go back briefly to the issue of the local leaders' engagements.
Yes.
You know, these local leaders, for example, we might not be in position, much as it is a big alliance and really spread everywhere through our companies,
Yeah.
but we might not be in position to know the detailed saving groups in different villages. So the local leaders help us to direct, to show to us in the different village saving groups, whereby they can access these technologies in a way that it is really very easily. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I hope what you have just said has clicked for you people. So we are going to go for one more question, and then after we go for a short break. Yes. So to you, yes, sir. What role do you think clean cooking can play in addressing environmental issues like deforestation and climate change?
Thank you.
Yes.
Imagine how many people how many trees would I be saving
Yes.
if I'm no longer cooking with charcoal?
So yeah, correction. Charcoal. For those that don't know, charcoal comes from trees.
And firewood for that case?
Even firewood, yes, firewood too. But charcoal comes from what? Trees. Yes. Yes, you
Imagine
can
how
proceed.
many trees would an institution really save, because we think that the most consumer, or the highest or the biggest consumer of charcoal are the institutions, maybe the schools. Suppose it is a policy that the government of Uganda says that every institution must stop using charcoal, but at least use solar for cooking, electric pressure cookers for cooking, or at least the briquettes. All the briquettes, yeah, because when briquettes are made not from charcoal dust, but we can make briquettes from other raw material, from other wastes and all that. So if we are promoting clean cooking, that is a very way of reducing the cutting down of the trees, hence improving the environment.
Yes.
Because, for example, I can say I'm using an electric pressure cooker at home. If I don't use charcoal, it means I will be saving I don't know how many bags of charcoal in a year. And I'll be saving how many trees that would be staying in the forest.
And also that money that you've been spending, the 80,000 on each sack for a month, actually that money can
50,000.
yes, 50,000. Because remember, the 30,000 is used in a month when you use the EPC. But then for charcoal, 80,000 per month. Actually, there's some people that buy 2 bags and use them in a month. So that is what, 160.
Yeah.
So
Too
at
much
least it
money.
saves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, what the Alliance has done through our promotions of this, we are trying to say our campaign for from now up to around 2030 is by 2030 at least we should have 50% of every person having a clean cooking technology. You're having either a highly improved, efficient cook stove. By the way, yes, because the transition is not that you will wake up tomorrow and people stop using charcoal. It is a transition.
It's a transition.
So we are saying that if you're still using charcoal, can you use a highly improved, efficient stove? We have stoves which our companies are promoting that just a handful, like this,
Of what?
Rubato like this, a handful,
Oh.
can cook from morning up to 2. because of that technology of a stove.
That is
So it really saves. So that means that someone who would be using at least 3 bags of charcoal can be using at least 1. So we are saying, why don't you have at least an EPC? If you have electricity, for God's sake, you have electricity at home, why do you so much rely on charcoal? You can have charcoal but with the unimproved cook stove and use electricity for cooking.
Wow.
You can use ethanol. We have ethanol for cooking.
Yes, ethanol.
I think you've ever heard of ethanol?
Yes.
We make it from the cassava, from the maize and all that. Use ethanol for cooking for some quick things, and you don't spend a lot of time lighting charcoal. Yet ethanol you just turn on and you just do what? Proceed. We have volcanic rocks.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of them?
I know,
Now
I've
these
never.
are stones that we get from mountainous areas like Mountain Elgon.
Yes, I've actually heard of them. Actually, when you hit them, they what?
You hit them and you fan. Source of energy to fan is
Yeah,
either solar or maybe electricity. Once they fan, like once they light up, they can
Yeah.
cook. So you see that 5 kilograms of those volcanic stoves can cook for 8 months.
8 months.
In 8 months.
8 months.
And around 6 months for a restaurant owner.
Oh.
So no, not to cook yeah, you can cook non-stop, but of course you have to break. You have to reduce, you turn off the fan and it goes off. But when you want to come back, you do the same thing. But the issue is when you use, for example, volcanic rocks, you can reduce a lot of trees that you'll be using as an institution or as a household to cook. Yeah, but we have briquettes. So much as these other technologies are seemingly expensive, there are some cheaper technologies like briquettes for cooking. Briquettes are made from wastes. Yeah, there is a process to make the briquettes, but still you don't use charcoal. I mean, you don't use the trees, but you use briquettes for cooking. So the Alliance has done a lot of work in promoting this, and we are still doing this, so that by 50% in Uganda are having clean cooking technologies. Yes. And at least from the 1% that uses e-cooking for now, that means that every 10 people, it is only 1 person using electricity. We want to have at least 19%, at least 19% by 2025 actually, next year. By next year, we should have at least 19% from the one. So we are doing a lot of efforts through awareness campaigns, of course advocating for conducive policies, doing a lot of mobilization for resources because it requires a lot of money, sensitization and all that, so that workshops and webinars, including what we are doing right now, such that people can get information, it can be disseminated to the lowest end user or farthest end user in the country, and we do this. I'm so happy to say that this year, up to next year, we are planning to have regional campaigns. We are going to over 16 districts in different regions, and we shall be leaving hubs. Hubs means that we shall be leaving a big room that has got different technologies in there. Amazing. To answer the question of accessibility, because someone says, I want to come to Kampala, I need an EPC but it's in Kampala. Yeah. We want every region. It is a small start, yes, I agree, but every region should have a well-organized clean cooking hub to solve some of the issues of accessibility and all that.
And I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I know, by the way, these things start small, but the Lord always makes a way for us. So regardless of which obstacle or what, you're going to find yourself, maybe, you never know, by 2025, you'll be where you want. But actually, let me say, the Lord's grace. Our Lord works in very mysterious ways. So for you, you're looking forward to 50%. Cat for me may be looking at a higher goal for you, like 80%. So because I remember our origin, we started from what? From firewood. From firewood we went to charcoal. From charcoal we went to what? To gas. After gas, electricity. So mpola people are just building. So before we know it, we're going to be somewhere. Now for us right now, we also use charcoal, we use gas, and we use the electricity. So we literally use 3 things for cooking at home: charcoal, gas, and electricity. So before you know it, we shall be what? We shall be moving somewhere. Mpola. Baby steps. Yeah. So for now, let's go for a short break, and we're going to be right back. Yes. right, welcome back from the short break, and we're going to proceed. Thank you for being here with us. It is now getting hotter, by the way. The sun has come out, and I hope you're not complaining about the weather. No one is complaining. Kasana is out, I can see it. All right, so we're going to proceed with Madame Rose. Sorry, Madame Sarah, sorry. I was thinking about roses are red, violets are blue. Anyway, so let us proceed. Can you discuss the impact of clean cooking and clean cooking on health, particularly for women and children?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And of course, with the emphasis on women and children. Why? Because it is what do they call? Is it chisilani or something? When when they see a man cooking, as if you're failure or something of that kind. So you always see. They always see it is majorly in African setting or traditional setting, that ladies are the ones responsible for cooking. And whenever there is a lady, always the lady comes with either a girl to teach.
Yes, to teach.
Or carrying a baby at the back. So while this lady is mingling posho in that environment that is not conducive with too much smoke,
yes,
the lady gets in the indoor air pollution, which is bad air.
Yes,
at the same time, either the young girl or then she's carrying at the back. And realize that most of the ladies cook at least 6 hours a day. When you include breakfast, lunch, and eat and supper, it is around 6 hours a day. So you cannot see this, but when you enter into those traditional, those village, I can use the village maybe kitchens. Yeah, when you go inside there, you see that suit. Is it called suit?
Yes.
Which is black.
Actually, yeah, that the one which is always
on the walls, spread everywhere. That is how your lungs are looking or appearing inside. So before you know, after 5 years, 10 years, you develop health problems, for example, diseases. That is normally asthma, if not pneumonia, and lung-related kind of challenges because of the indoor air pollution. What does this do as the impact? It has killed very many of us. And see that 23,000 of the people die every year silently because of indoor air pollution. And like I said, when you compute this per day, it means 66 people. As we speak, right now as we speak, someone is dying. Why? Because of the bad air that person inhaled while he was doing what? Cooking. So that is how really dangerous it is. Because some of us think that maybe it is AIDS to talk about because you see significant someone dying, but yet other people are dying silently because of the indoor air pollution. And before you realize it is too late. And it's very expensive even to treat. It's
very expensive to treat because actually it's always the small things that I ignore. Now, for example, food. Actually, people, when it comes to food, their minds are gone because food, they are focused. They are focused. It's food, and they ignore the disadvantages, the effects, the damages that are caused to them while they are cooking. Yes.
Yeah, that is very true.
That is very true. Anyway, so let us proceed to our next question of how the Alliance addresses the affordability and accessibility of clean cooking solutions for low-income households. Yes.
Thank you. You talked about the low-income household. That is okay. But even you will be surprised that even the medium income earners, we can say, can still fail to buy these EPCs. Okay, I'm going to give you a short scenario. When you go to salary earners and you go there with the pressure cookers to promote them, in the dates of around 25, they will all not buy. They will say, we are waiting for salary. So, as you talk of the low-income earners, but also even these people who are earning money, it is something that is really, of course, we said it is expensive. But anyway, back to the question that you said, how is the Alliance trying to address this issue? One, we are devising different ways of payment modes, different flexible payment modes, that even if you don't have 250, you can pay in installments. You just come with 100 and then we give you the pressure cooker, then you keep paying what? In installments. So that is something that has been a little working for most of the people, and really it has helped very many people.
Yes.
There are even other systems like we bring, for example, the local leaders, like I mentioned, they back you up and they support you to get this equipment, and you'll be paying slowly by slowly. But you talked about still the issue of accessibility. How does the Alliance try to make technologies be closer to the end users? What we are trying to do is to move away from Kampala, at least, because now at least we know that most of the technologies, people know them. in the central.
Within the central.
So most of our company members, yes, they have factories in Kampala or in the central, but they have different distribution points across the country. They have established the mini hubs, although we are going to establish bigger ones for the regions. But as we speak, you find that someone has got ethanol stoves as a business in Soroti. The same company has it in Imbale. The same company has it in Gulu. So we are trying to scatter these kind of clean cooking hubs in different areas for accessibility of the technologies. And we talked about the hubs that we are planning to also establish across the regions. That would be a very good way of making them still accessible.
Yes.
Now, make it very even impressive. Most of these technologies can be even online ordered.
Yes.
Our people do. They have different agents and their people run their pages of TikTok and doing social media. So like someone communicates, I need a pressure cooker. I've seen it on the social media, maybe TikTok. How much is it? It is this money. Can you deliver? So they keep even delivering them to make them really reach their the end users at a very convenient and cost-free. That is if it is within Kampala or and around, and too little probably transport if it is away from Kampala. So that is how we are trying. Even for after-sale services, our companies like the Alliance will try to do regulations that when you sell someone something like an EPC, you must follow up with this person to even after-sale services, and we give the warranty for a full year with free services, and even after the warranty of that year, we advise you to still follow up with that client, and you really don't charge much unless if it is to repair or to replace some spare part. But the normal kind of working upon the EPC
yes.
really should be very, very, very appealing for someone not to hate the technology.
Yes.
Because we realize that through this kind of research that we are doing, someone says, yes, I've ever had a pressure cooker. My husband bought it for me, but I'm not using it. I just put it under the bed or somewhere. Why? Because probably when it got some damage. Either poor after-sale service was really okay. It was not catered for,
Yes.
and then someone really feels nagged. You see that there are some companies which give you something, and after calling that number, toll-free number for maybe after-sale services, they keep dashing you and then maybe switching you off and all that.
Yeah.
So you get nagged and you just forego the technology.
Yeah.
So as the Alliance, we try to regulate the quality, the standards, and more emphasis on after-sale services. If for all the technologies, not pressure cookers alone, but whether it is biogas, whether it is an institutional stove that they constructed in your school, and you complain that maybe it is emitting a lot of smoke, you have to go back and repair and try to rectify the issue.
But it's good what you're doing, keeping in touch with your buyers, because if you don't keep in touch with them, they'll feel like you guys are just after the money, and you're not bothered about the well-being of the clients. But what you've just said, it's nice that at least you endeavor, you have your handles, people communicate. And by the one thing people always, I don't know why people don't listen to communication, but communication is always one key factor that comes into this information. Now, like the way we are talking here, the way we are communicating, we are giving people feedback on what is going on, the use, and what they're going to actually implement this for their well-beings also. So I love what your company is doing.
Just to add on slightly.
Yes.
Recently we had an exhibition in Jinja, but when we reached to engage with the local leaders, we had a brief meeting with them, and someone said, for us, we are tired of you people. You bring technology, of course they're not meaning us, but generally people who come to the area.
Yeah.
You bring the technologies, but after people disappear. So we always struggled, maybe because there are some people within this ginger market, some ladies who went to their circle, got some money and bought these volcanic rocks. They're expensive.
Yeah,
that
very
actually the
expensive.
initial cost is 900 for a stove, volcanic stove, and they bought like 5. But the time reached when those volcanic rocks need to be replaced, and the companies were not giving good attention. So they hated people to carry the technologies. The same applied with some solar companies. So they keep referring that once you bring the technologies here, please emphasize on feedback and customer complaints, and do very good after-sale services. That is very important than even selling a pressure cooker.
Yes, that is very good, and I love what your company is doing. Yes, so let us go to the last question now, which says, how does the Alliance ensure that its interventions are gender sensitive and inclusive?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And on top of the alliance itself, I'm impressed that there are some development partners or organizations or programs that come and they always say in the calls, they say women-led enterprises are encouraged. Or chances are going to be given to companies of clean cooking technologies, but they are women-led. So even in UNAC itself, it is not that companies which are there are only led by men. At least I can say it is not a big score, but at least 30% of the companies in the alliance are led by women. And we so much encourage them. We advise them, we improve on their quality through linking them to the prospective partners who can guide them on how to do better quality, probably stoves or even clean technologies at large. But also, even when the opportunities come, for example, the exhibitions, we must make sure that there must be at least ladies who are going to be exhibiting their products in the exhibitions. Priorities, yeah.
And that is very good because ladies are the ones that lead in the kitchen. Some of us men can't even lead. But how I learned, my big sister taught me. My big sister cousin. I'm the second born. Then the first born is a guy. We are 3 boys. So anyway, and there is 1 girl. So one of our cousins who used to stay with us, she actually taught me how to cook. Even my mom too, she taught me because you see and you want to learn. So because with time campus will come and you're still going to be living alone, that period of time will come instead of going to restaurants and all. So and you're eating so I love what the empowerment of ladies are doing to actually teach, to lay down this information on us youngsters, on us even. But it's actually funny because I feel like sometimes when the ladies are teaching, they don't want to go deep because they want to keep their secrets to themselves. No, by fact, my mom makes the best chapatis. So she kept that secret to herself. So till secret recipe, exactly. So till date, recipe is we tried asking her, but she said no, because now for me we just enjoy the chapatis. So I also came up with my own recipe, and obviously it's good, but it's not as good as hers. That's the thing. But anyway, I love what the ladies are also doing. So thank you very much. So now back to you, Peter. Let us ask you some questions on how the equipment of the equipment and its health. So, how can using the right cooking equipment help prevent nutrition-related non-communicable diseases, the NCDs?
Okay, so I think this is one of the issues that we handled last time. But just to remind you that the cooking equipment that you use definitely has an impact on your life, even in the long run. Things like cancers, things like obesity, hypertension, type 2 diabetes are all coming from all these kinds of things. We talked about the lighting in the kitchen. If you're not seeing, you add too much salt, too much sugar, too much ingredients, too much water, all kinds of things will happen. And if you have not kept your ingredients well, the storage facilities are not there, it means that you're going to eat bad food. Bad food will give you a bad tummy. A bad tummy will take you to the hospital. And they used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but most of us have not yet learned.
Don't eat the apples.
So nutrition actually will help keep you out of the hospital. Definitely. So what we are trying to say is that the right cooking equipment, if you're having equipment that uses less cooking oil, less of the frying, less of all these kinds of over processed and quick things, you can actually preserve your life. They have been talking about using clean energies, and we have had very many instances. You always watch Agatari Kung Fu, and they are talking about children who have died inside the house. Why? Because they were cooking, and after cooking they left the stove cooking some more beans, and they died because of carbon monoxide poisoning. And all these kinds are coming up. The smoke, the lung disease, cancers are on the rise every other day. But the problem is in the kitchen. The problem is in the kitchen. I'm not saying that all the problems are in the kitchen, but there is a problem in the kitchen. So I'm really beseeching you that you look into your kitchen. You can use this time as a reflection. What is this? How is your mother that you left in the village? You know, it is something you have to think about. Your sisters that are in the kitchen, your brothers, the person that is preparing for you these meals. You can take that time and, you know, look at your kitchen, picture your kitchen, and really see where the need is. Is it in storage? Is it in the cooking equipment itself? The other time we talked about people who have used one cup for 7 years, for 20 years. You're using the same cup. You have drunk it. You have drunk the milk and the cup itself. Someone is saying the toothbrush. But these are things that we have to really, you know, reflect. Where does the help? Where do you need to come in and change? If you are a man in the house, take on the responsibility. Ask your wife, what do we need in our kitchen to make our health better? What do we need to improve this and that? If you have a child that is at campus, ask them, where do you cook from? Let them show you. These campuses are not telling you the truth. People are having problems. They are on the same bed. They are sleeping here. This is where they are putting their stove. And you know, there's someone, I will not mention names. There's someone we literally used to call Total. The reason why we used to call them Total is because they were using kerosene to cook. And the whole room, it is a small room, there's no ventilation, you're killing your children. Parents, if you're there, this is an opportunity for you to call and check, ask your daughter, how are you cooking? You know, because later on you will be the one who will have to pay if they're in the hospital. Yes, so it is really important.
Wow, you know, the part of but he's actually right about it, because you know, campuses, you know, actually, you know, these small things of gas, those small containers, gas has actually been now a common, actually now it is a common trend for campuses, when they're going to their hostels, their parents buy for them like a small thing of gas. They're like, you go use that for cooking. But then question is, where do they cook from? Because most of my people that I check on, there's no ventilation, poor aeration. First of all, like where they set their things for cooking is even the worst, because some of them cook near their clothes, some of them cook near the bed. They don't actually even put the cooking thing, that thing called the gas thing where they're cooking. They don't even put it near the window. At least if they could cook from outside, maybe they open the door and then they cook from the windows. Okay, yes, maybe they open the windows, but the thing is not even near the window. It is I don't know. It is somewhere. So please, what he has said is really true about what campuses are going to. Because by the way, now with the mere fact that campuses are nowadays cooking for themselves, it is very essential that parents check on them. Like very essential. Yes. So let us go to the last question of the day on how we can modify the traditional cooking methods to make them healthier. And also would love some. Sorry, what's the name again? Eunuch. No, I was looking for the name of the eunuch, and I loved Sarah the reason. right, welcome back from that short break, and yes, we're now back. We're now back. So we are going to our last question of the day. How can we modify traditional cooking methods to make them healthier? Yes.
Well, that is a very good question, because as she said, that we are not just going to come and we tell people stop using this. It is like having someone who has been having an addiction